watching The End Zone, sponsored by Lucky Star Casino.
Welcome to another edition of The End Zone along with TJ Eckert. I am Colby Daniels. Joining us this week is former Oklahoma running back Rodney Anderson. Rodney, it's been a wild football season. No OU football this weekend, no OSU football this weekend. A much-needed break in terms of football here in the state of Oklahoma, but we're glad to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
And excited to talk a little football,
Man,
even given the circumstances.
Man, I will bring it up now. I hate that you're here with a knee brace on. Like, is
Yeah.
that just you just like carry that around with you everywhere you go? Or?
You know, it's just whenever I want to relive the glory days.
Just throw that brace on?
I have a kid coming on the way in
Yes,
March, and so
congratulations.
yeah, I appreciate it. And so I figured I need to get my wheels right before he gets his wheels right, so I can
love
keep
it.
up with them.
I love that.
I have a daughter that just started walking about 3 months ago, and I've like tripled my steps.
You need to borrow my
in the
brace.
last 3 months. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's just it's a game changer for sure. So yeah, I'm glad you're getting that taken care of. Speaking of injuries, I mean, my gosh, what an unlucky season it's been for this Sooner squad. That especially on the offensive side of the football, right? That we went into this year with high expectations, explosive playmakers, and all these offensive line rotations. What is it? 9 of 10 different starting
so.
fives on the offensive line so far this year. I've really never seen anything like it on one side of the football.
Right, and you know, initially you like to say it's an injury bug, right? You know, it happens. It's a physical game. Not much you can do to keep that from happening. But at this point in the season, we haven't had one dude really come back, and dudes are just kind of staying sidelined. I would assume that it's a little bit bigger of a problem that needs to be addressed. I don't know if that's training room or whatever, but if we want to have success in the future moving forward, I feel like we definitely, that's number one, outside of maybe OC, that needs to be addressed, because these guys need to be able to trust that their bodies are going to be taken care of whenever they step on campus. And right now, it doesn't look great.
That's right.
You know, Deion Burks, Julio Fruit come back for the Mizzou game in Columbia. I was there over the weekend, and they weren't much of a factor. And then got to keep an eye on Burks too with the head injury. Hopefully he's okay there.
Right.
But the offense just could not get anything going, and it's been the story of the season, obviously. But the defense plays as well as they do, and you either shoot yourself in the foot on the offensive side of the ball. There's just no execution. There's leakage up front. Like there wasn't just one thing you could put your finger on.
Yeah, it's kind of all a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, that's good.
And you know, like it's hard to describe it any other way, because there's been so much change.
Sure.
You know, you go in with what looks like a great team, but then really like all your main weapons get injured.
Yeah.
And then you have a little bit of a play calling problem, and so you had to make a big change in the middle of the season, letting Seth Luttrell go, which I feel was definitely probably needed. But at the same time, then what are you left with? No, I don't know, slack against Joe John Finley.
Sure, yeah.
Because he's doing the best he can with what he's got.
Correct.
But it just ever more so paints the
Yeah.
picture that we need that OC. We need that guy that can command, call plays that the players can trust. It's a necessity.
Yeah, you have a guy that was in year one as an OC at OU. He's out. Then you have a guy that's now an OC for the first time with an offensive line that's been, as you said, a dumpster fire all year long, right? No continuity at all. 2 young quarterbacks have played that don't have any experience, and all of your playmakers have been hurt. I mean, even Javonte Barnes, it finally seemed like he found something
Man, right.
offensively. He has this breakout game, and then he's not even available a week later. Like
That hurt my soul.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that hurt my soul. I felt it because he was going off. I was like, okay. I always talk about running backs. They need to hit that rhythm, that flow.
Sure.
It needs to be like they need to feel it. And I felt like he really came into his own. And then, darn,
Yeah,
like,
right. Right.
It is what it is.
You know, shout out Xavier Robinson, Carl Albertone, played really well against Mizzou. I like the way he ran. When there's nothing good up front and you have to run through trash, you need a dude that can run through trash.
Yeah.
And Xavier Robinson's been running through some trash. He's good.
Dude, sometimes you just have to run through a dude's face.
Yeah.
I think Marshawn Lynch said that, just run through a dude's face. He said it a little bit funnier than that, but he is also doing, I feel like, what everybody else is also doing, is they're playing with what they got. They're just doing the best with what they got, the best that they can right now. It's not a ton more they could do, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not the OC guy. I'm not the super in the weeds analysts. I don't have all the answers, but from what it looks like to me, they're just doing the best with what they got.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to think it becomes a mental thing as well, right? On top of the physical deficiencies they might have offensively, at some point you've struggled for so long that, I mean, the confidence has to get shaken, and you have to wonder, if you're a guy on that side of the football, are we ever going to figure this out?
Yeah, I think a lot more goes into the mental side. You know, it's easy from the outside looking in to say, oh man, like what are they playing for? Their season seems tanked, but at the same time, they still want to put good film on tape. They still want to have a good resume, because and I'm not talking about like so that they can hit the transfer portal, but if they want to do anything, take the sport any further, they're going to have good film on tape. Their combine interviews, they're not going to put on like the highlight tapes where they all did the great things and scored all the touchdowns. They're going to put on the worst season that they had. They're going to ask them the hardest questions that they can think of, and they're going to have to answer for it. And so at this point in the season, you know, they got to play for the pride, the guy next to them, and just hopefully put something together, finish on a strong note.
You wanted to hit on Colin Oliver. I thought that was an interesting
Yeah.
point.
Before we get out of here, I mean, we've got to talk college football playoff in the next segment, but an OSU topic. Colin Oliver, hurt early in the season, a dynamic pass rusher who I think we've all felt like has probably next-level skills.
I think so.
Got hurt early in the season. He's been out all year. There's been speculation about whether he would come back. It's been announced that he's gonna go to the Senior Bowl, and it looks like he's headed to the next level. So I think you are the perfect guy to talk about this in terms of that balance of like when is the right time, going through injuries. And you obviously want to go to the NFL when your stock is at its highest. Maybe that doesn't happen after a year that you've set out, but you also have the clock ticking, right? And you don't know how many opportunities you're going to have.
I think he's making the best decision he can for himself. And at the end of the day, that's what all these players got to do. No matter what team they're on, they got to think about their body as their business. How am I going to put my business in the best position to succeed? And so, you know, for him, I think he's making a great choice. Based on, you know, the camaraderie he's had with his teammates and the years that he has played, I think that he's in a great position, and his teammates feel great about him also going. Not that he needs their blessing or anything, but you know, you're not leaving. He's leaving no stones unturned. Sure. And I think it's time for him to make that jump, and I wish all the best for him.
To your point, him and Nick Martin have both been really involved on the sidelines during warm-ups or during in-game adjustments and stuff there for the OSU defense, so it's been good to see. I think he certainly hasn't burned any bridges there.
Again, it's going to be something that he's going to have to answer for. Like, hey, why were you hurt? Okay, that makes sense, but what were you doing while you were hurt?
Sure.
You know, and so I think he's being a great leader, and I think that he's ready for that next level.
Yeah.
Rodney Anderson is our guest this week, and we're going to talk about the college football playoff on the other side of the break. A shakeup in the rankings. That's next here on the End Zone. All right, it's week 2 of the new 12-team college football playoff rankings, and the new bracket looks like this. Georgia was number 2 last week. They lost to Ole Miss, and they are now completely out of what would be the 12-team playoff this week. Texas jumps from 6 to 2, just simply from being the highest-ranked SEC team, projecting them as the SEC champion. I do think it's interesting how much confusion, guys, there is already over what the bracket seed numbers are versus what your college football ranking is.
Yeah.
Because your ranking could be number 2, like Ohio State, but they're the number 5 seed in the bracket.
Yeah, this is weird, and it's going to take time to adjust to. Last week we talked about that spot right there that we're zooming in on being the easiest spot, right? Like if you're the 5 seed, you're in a great spot because you're going to play the worst, in theory, team coming into the bracket, and then you're supposed to play the worst conference champion, right? At least in the top 4. And it looks like it's still carrying out that way. Do you like 12? I don't even think I asked you. Do you like the 12-team playoff? Would you rather be 4? Where it was?
I do. I do like the 12-team bracket. I'm all for, you know, honest competition. But at the same time, given my history, I obviously want to protect the players' bodies. So I want to do the competition, but I also want to protect, you know, players.
Yeah. What was your big takeaway from this week?
Probably the fact that everybody is always talking about the SEC bias, right? I mean, SEC, everybody loves the SEC. I mean, the Big Ten had 4 of the top 5 rankings, and you start to look at this thing. Obviously, you only get 1 in terms of the first round bye, but then you have Ohio State as the 5, Penn State as the 6, Indiana as the 7.
Yeah.
That would be 3 Big Ten home games in the first round.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
I like seeing the Big Ten mix things up, though. Even though we are in the SEC now, I love being, I guess, with the big dogs. Everybody's kind of proven that it doesn't really matter, what,
That's right.
Sure.
what conference you're in. So I love the mix up.
Odd that you see Texas up there number 2, but the lone, right, Big 12 rep is BYU. It's weird to me to see.
Who wasn't even in the conference last year.
Yeah, it's weird even to utter those words. Interesting to see Indiana at 7. They haven't, is Ohio State game, is that this weekend or is it next?
I think that's next weekend.
Next weekend?
Yeah.
They haven't really been tested.
That's right.
And so
That's right.
that'll be a good barometer for them, and then it really could shake up the rest of what the bracket looks like.
Well, it'll be interesting, especially with the Big Ten teams, because their strength of schedule isn't nearly what the SEC teams are.
Sure.
If you have like 11-1 Big Ten team versus 10-2 SEC team, when all the dust settles and clearly the 2-loss team has a much tougher schedule, how do they stack those up? We've got to take a timeout, and we're going to put Rodney Anderson in the hot seat. He's going to attempt to move the chains. That's next here on the End Zone. All right, it's time for Moving the Chains. Rodney Anderson is our guest this week, and it's a simple concept. 1st and 10, we're going to ask you questions. We will grade your answers with positive or negative yardage, and you have to move the chains. We almost had the first ever non-first down last week.
Yeah.
We even had to go into the commercial break to decide whether or not we were going to give him
Matt Burton.
Oh, yeah.
It
makes more sense now.
I thought he failed miserably. We gave him the benefit of the doubt ultimately, and he did move the chains. But don't make us have to review this during the commercial break.
I'll
this
do my
time.
best.
Yeah, let's be definitive.
Hard.
All right, 1st and 10. Give me your top 5 running backs in OU history, or at least that you've seen. I mean, you don't have to go back 50 years, but your top 5 OU running backs.
Adrian Peterson, Samaje Perine.
Nice.
I'm going to say Marcus Dupree,
Okay.
just because freak athlete, how can you not?
Okay.
I got to throw Joe Mixon in there. Just a phenomenal athlete.
Also freak. Yeah.
Freak athlete. He's
Freak
6'2",
athlete.
moving like that is crazy.
I have one name in mind, and then let's see if he says it.
I'm tossing it back and forth in my head.
Okay.
I think I
You
got
want
to
to go 5A and a 5B?
That's fine.
I want to go DeMarco Murray
Okay.
as 5A,
Okay.
and then I'll go Trey Sermon as 5B.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
only here for a little bit, but
Okay.
that dude is special.
You pulled out some good names. You left one off for me that I thought you were going to throw out there, Billy Sims. which
Oh.
I know.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, another one?
dang! You just unlocked. Okay, wait. Back
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Back up. I want to redo.
Okay. Quick preview, go.
Adrian Peterson, Joe Washington,
Oh, yeah.
Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon. I'll say Billy Sims.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay.
You
I
can't
like-
deny Billy Sims.
Okay.
You can't.
You picked up a good gain on first down. It just took us a while to get there. It was like
Yeah, I had to fight through some tackles.
Plod.
Yeah.
We got 4 yards though. We'll give you 4 yards. Okay, I'm not going to ask you who OU should hire as next offensive coordinator. We've
Thank
had
you.
this conversation before on the radio actually. What type of offense would you like to see OU running in the future with their OC hire?
I think a dynamic offense, something that needs. You do need a little bit of both. The conference they're playing in is a very pro-ready conference.
Sure.
And so I think we do need some version of a traditional pro-style offense, some version of it.
Yeah.
And then, but this day and age, it's kind of spread out, and it's a pass-first sport almost.
Right.
And so I think my answer is a dynamic offensive coordinator that has maybe pass-first mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that. Run first mentality, pass.
Sometimes you got to pass the run though. It's part of it.
Well, and if you have a defense like Brent Venables has put together, running the football obviously becomes a key
Important.
component of that. So mutually beneficial on both sides of the football.
sure.
I'll give you 3 yards. 3
Okay,
yards,
we're
setting
moving.
up
Down
a
with
third
that.
and short. So we're moving.
Third and
We're
three.
moving along.
That's a good spot.
Are you still a comic book guy?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I want you to cast an Avengers movie using former OU athletes as the Avengers. So who you got?
Oh man. Trevor Knight is Captain America.
Okay. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's really good.
I thought maybe CeeDee Lamb because he plays for America's team. But,
yeah,
you know.
but you're a cowboy bias get in the way.
Okay, sorry.
apologize.
I look at Trevor Knight and I'm like, you're Captain
That's
America.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That was a good answer. That was the correct answer.
Oh, man. I think Hawkeye would be maybe Baker.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baker is
Accurate.
Hawkeye.
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta do Obo Onkwo.
yeah.
It's a big dude. He's rocked up. He's the Hulk. Dang. You could put Samaje as the Hulk too, because he's so strong.
That's good.
Yeah.
Dang. All right. Who else is on the Avengers? I gotta go Iron Man next.
Yeah.
Iron Man's
let's go
good.
Iron Man.
Yeah. Who's kind of the?
I
I like.
think I'm gonna do. I'd probably change my answer. You're putting me on the spot, but
No.
I think for Iron Man, maybe Sterling Shepard.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Yeah.
I can see
like
Sterling
that.
as an
I like
Iron
that.
Man,
like
like a Robert Downey Jr. I can
Yeah.
see his face with the
Yeah.
mask closing.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't know.
Is there anybody else on this?
Tony Stark.
Who else?
I think that's good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
I think we'll roll with that one.
Okay.
The big four at least. Yeah.
Oh wait, Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to do a Thor.
Yeah. Give me a Thor.
Dang,
Someone with good hair.
gotta be right.
Dusty Dvorak.
Oh, there you go. That'd be good.
He had the
That'd be
long
good.
hair in his
He
playing
did,
days.
he
Our guy
did.
Dusty.
I don't know. I think I could go with Dusty, or maybe Jonathan Alvarez. He used to have
Oh,
a flow.
okay, okay.
He used to have a flow too. That's the flow that I see when I think.
All
of
right,
Thor.
Let's do this. Let's do a quick one, 4th and 1, just for fun. But you're gonna pick up the first down here unless you do a horrible answer. Skyline Chili.
Sucks.
Oh!
Perfect. Good. Overrated or underrated? It's
I'll say
overrated.
this. I'll say
down!
this. I'm from Texas.
Yeah,
from
I know,
Houston,
yeah.
Texas. I don't put brown sugar in my chili.
Good.
And I don't
Excellent.
put cinnamon in my chili. So
We got it. First down.
First down. There's no review.
We got it.
He got it, and
Take that,
it
Matt.
is very definitive.
Love
So
it.
first down, Rodney Anderson. All right, game picks are next here on the End Zone. For the final time this week, Rodney Anderson is our guest, along with TJ Eckert. I'm Colby Daniels. We wrap things up with game picks every week, but first, we have to look at last week's standings.
Oh,
TJ,
good.
you're second 0 for 5 this season. What happened, my man?
I trusted both OU and OSU, I believe, which I think led to
At
the demise.
some point,
My
it's gotta
line
go
every
the
week
other
has
way,
been,
right?
at some point, this team will do this, and
Yeah.
neither team has done anything. So I need to stop doing that.
You were starting to put the pressure on me in the overall standings, but that
We're
0 for
not.
5 is not helping.
We'll go 5-0 this week,
whatsoever.
and we'll flip
All
the
right,
script.
there we go. There we go. All right, game 1, Utah at Colorado. Colorado is in the run for this Big 12 championship.
Surging, I think this is a matchup that gives Colorado fits. I think they still end up winning the game, but 10's a lot, so I'll take the Utes.
I'm taking Colorado.
Fair.
I believe in Coach Prime and his ability to coach.
Coach Prime.
I just think Utah's style, right? They slow down the game,
Exactly.
they run the football, they do play good defense. I think Colorado wins, but Utah just has the ability, I think, to keep things close.
Agreed.
Staying in the Big 12, we have the Kansas Jayhawks at BYU. The Cougs are only a 3-point favorite, and they've been in a lot of close games.
Kansas has played well and hasn't won a lot, but I still think BYU 3 isn't enough at home, so I'll take the Cougs.
I'm same page as you. I think Kansas has played decent, but BYU's going to pull this out in my opinion.
Yeah.
Give me the upset on the road. Rock Chalk Jayhawk for the first time
right.
this season. Kansas actually looks like what many thought they would be in the
that's
preseason.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, let's head to the SEC. LSU is a 4-point favorite on the road in the Swamp.
I think, if you win by a touchdown, that you cover, right? And it feels like LSU is a touchdown better than Florida. On the road, I know that's tough, but I'll take the Tigers.
You know what? I think I'm also going to take. I'm going to take Florida, or no, the Tigers. I'm sorry.
Take LSU.
I did take LSU.
Sorry.
Oh well.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens.
Let's go 3 for 3. I watched Florida play Texas last week, and yikes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
me LSU all the
Yeah.
way. All right, Missouri, who we just saw pull off that insane finish last week that I think OU fans are still trying to digest. At South Carolina, and the Gamecocks are nearly 2-touchdown favorites.
Missouri's bad. Like, the fact they won that game last weekend is bad for OU. South Carolina's surging. I think the Gamecocks can win by 2 touchdowns. Why not?
Agreed. I think South Carolina's going to take this.
Yeah.
South Carolina's defense is really good, and I think their offense is getting better and better
Yep.
each week, so give me the Gamecocks at home. And finally, the game of the weekend, Tennessee at Georgia.
I know Nico Iamaleava, was that good?
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava, whatever, has been banged up. We'll see what happens with his status. I think Georgia's angry, and so I'll take the angry team at home.
I think Georgia's a little wounded, so I'm going to
That's
go
fair.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
I like the momentum that they're going to take.
Sure.
I like getting 9 points in a matchup that is this big,
Yeah.
and I think Tennessee's defense is for real, and will, if nothing else, keep them in the game even if Nico struggles. Rodney, we appreciate it, man. We'll have to do it again soon.
No, please do. I appreciate y'all for letting me come on.
Love
That's
it, man.
TJ
Thank
Eckert.
you.
I'm Colby Daniels, and we'll be back next week here on the End Zone.